All right, cool. So I'm live. TikTok, you guys are live on TikTok. YouTube, you guys are live on YouTube. Okay. Normally don't do this. This is something new. We're gonna start doing this a little bit more because I am a believer that now in this phase we're not going through layoffs, we're actually going through wealth transfer. Okay. Now I started in real estate back in 2006. I got my license in 2019, invested in my first property in 2015. Then from there, I've been wholesaling, flipping, and doing traditional real estate, working with buyers, sellers, and probably over the last 4 years, more working with investors because investors actually feel the market when it came back. So I might be talking low. If I'm low, let me know. Good morning, everybody. Woo! Mary, thank you for joining. Lando, thank you for joining. Riker, thank you for joining. Thank you for jumping on this and checking this out. So I said I'm going to give 20 things that you need to know if you're going to be pursuing real estate now. And one of the things, this is second. Yesterday was emotional control. We're talking about emotional intelligence. Chris Voss was the book I gave yesterday, which was very great. Chris Voss, if you ever get a chance, don't forget, go get that book, Never Split the Difference. I didn't understand how big it is. I didn't know how big that book was until I actually listened to it on Audible, probably 5 times in 1 month. And I've been hooked since then. Probably once every quarter I listen to it. The next one is Og Mandino. Og Mandino has 2 books. The first book is The Greatest Salesman Alive. This one is The Greatest Secret in the World. And it's really just taking like old principles, showing how selling can help you right now, and just the thought pattern, the idea, the concept. Because people think selling is really persuading somebody or convincing them to do something, or I guess making them buy water when there's no water. No, selling is actually showing value to a person so they can actually see how this actually fits in their life and leading them to the process of determining what they want. So real estate agents get into being real estate agents, and you think just because you got a license, you're good. That's not true. Your stage just begins. Imagine getting your real estate license if you're a realtor. Imagine selling your very first property if you're a wholesaler or a flipper. Imagine buying your first home if you're a buyer or even a seller and you have no idea what you're doing. That happens to everybody, especially real estate agents. But it all starts with understanding. I didn't even turn this light on. Boom. Yeah, there you go. But it all starts with understanding sales and understanding that selling is sharing. And selling is the foundation of everything. It doesn't matter if you're going to be a millionaire, if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, if you're trying to go up the corporate ladder, because I've done the corporate ladder thing. I've done that. It doesn't matter. I've done it in tech and I've done it in security. So it doesn't matter where you're at. The most important thing is, how do I convey this product or the need for this product to that person? So how do I show them that this fits into their life? So the only way you can do that is, one, to build up your selling skills, because sales pay the bills. Skills bring the dollars or pay the bills, however you want to put it. But selling is the second thing. So first thing yesterday was emotional. I'm emotional. Look, this is probably the worst thing I did was get a black board with white stickers and try to explain it to people. It's probably the worst. But it's still, hey, I like it. It's fly when this actually works. It's really fly, I'm telling you. So selling. Everything in real estate hinges on selling. I'm trying to tell you guys. And I hate it when I see real estate agents, they get out there, they don't quite understand it. Investors, people who want to wholesale, you think that finding the deal is it. You think that finding the money is it. But it's not finding the deal or the money. It is actually convincing the person to give you the deal. That means if you're buying it from somebody, you got to convince them to give you the deal. Then after you convince them to give you the deal, You gotta, whatever you're gonna do, fix it, flip it, or find the value. Whether you're gonna do it and fix it, flip it, whether you're gonna adjust the numbers when you go to wholesaling because you bought it cheaper, and then you're gonna sell it to them for a little bit more. You still have to now sell that house to a potential buyer. So you bought it, you convinced the seller to sell it to you. Now you got to convince the buyer to buy it from you at the numbers that you want. So if they can come in at the numbers that you want and buy it from you, then you make a profit, I make a profit. So we do the same thing when we're talking about reselling. So we got a resale business also. We got phones, man. This is the first Apple iPhone. Okay, vintage T-shirts. Talk about trucker hats. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm doing e-commerce business while I'm also, so selling is important regardless of whatever you talk about. So you got to realize you can't come into this thing and not understand the concept of actually selling. And when I started in real estate, nobody ever told me that. They told me I was at the Gap. They said, "Oh man, you work at the Gap, or you work at what else? All these other retailers. Oh, you're a great salesperson." But what does that actually mean? Does that mean I clock them upside the head and I make them do something? No, I create I identify value, and I put someone. First. Let's start with this. I identify value. Now, if you can't see this board, it's effed up. I can't change it to a white one. We'll probably do something different next time. So selling, we're going to identify value, okay? And when I identify the value, I'm going to present that value to the person that I'm trying to sell, or whatever the product name. Maybe this book is Og Mandino's book. I just showed you already. This is great. This book will help you if you just started in the business of real estate. It'll help you if you just started door-to-door sales. It'll help you because I've done door-to-door sales before. I've done that. I did door-to-door sales for 2 years in the sun, in the summer, just like this, knocking on doors and selling alarm systems. So I first had to say, you're living in a bad neighborhood, or first you got an alarm system in your house, or there's been break-ins in the area. Have you considered putting an alarm system in the house or activating your current alarm system? They said, what do you mean? Like you said, okay, that's fair, but I'm going to say this. They're going to say, yeah, I thought about it, but I don't know. Okay, now I'm going to show you how this alarm system can actually save your life. Well, I'm going to show you how this book can actually help you renew your mind and become a better sales professional or sales practitioner. How am I going to do that? I'm going to show you, I'm going to ask you questions. That's what I'm going to ask. When the last time you had a sale? If you're looking at this book and you're in whatever space, when you did that sale, was it easy? Was it hard? What would you change to help you be able to sell products more? Like, what do you think you're missing to help you be able to sell? So identify the value. I located in them. I showed them. So a series of questions. Hey, this will help you. Let's pinpoint where you're the most weakest in. Does this book address that? Yeah, the greatest salesman in the world by Og Mandino. Yeah, it's going to do that. How is it going to help you? It's going to give me 10 pillars for selling that I need to know. And then it's going to give me stories that go along with it. And it's going to help me understand those pillars through the story, then how they apply to my life. And I won't even have to read all 10 pillars in this book. I'm going to turn around and I'm probably going to read one pillar a day, and I'm going to focus on that one pillar, especially if it relates to something that I need in my sales organization. And we're talking about real estate. We're talking about resale. We're talking about all of that. So let's go back to real estate. If we're talking about real estate, selling is the most important tool that you need to know. Anything, you just need to know. So we find value in a person, okay? We find value, we offer value to them, we show them how it relates to them in value, and we do that through a series of questions. And in those questions, we discover what they're doing and what they're not doing. So we discover through questions, okay? So after we've asked questions, after we've located where we can add value through asking questions in discovery, now we're going to connect them to what we're offering. We're going to do it in a peak. We're going to peak questions. I'm going to say, hey, sir, I know you want to increase your portfolio by 3 properties each year. You want to add another property to your portfolio. I work with investors that do nothing but buy property, and what we actually do is we help them find that property. So you want to add 2 properties to your portfolio this year. What do you want through the questions? Where do you want them to be? How much do you want to spend? If I was to bring them to you right now, would you be able to close on them? How long does it take you to close? How many did you buy the previous month, year? So in asking those questions, I can actually discover if this person is somebody that we want to do business with on a long term, right? So we know we learn more from our prospect by asking questions, and we're able now to pair them with the right fit. So now we can bring that value in again. We can add value and say, okay, you want to add 3 properties over this year. We're going to add 3 properties this year to your portfolio. Let me show you how plugging into our system, or let me show you, if you have a system, let me show you how the deals we bring with the financing we bring can help you reach that funding goal. So that is actually selling. That is actually because I'm actually asking questions. The worst thing I hate is when I walk into a place, whether it's a retail location, doesn't matter, buying a car, and the person wants to talk, but they don't want to talk about my needs, or they want to ask questions, but it has nothing to do with my needs, because people are innately selfish. We only concern about ourselves. You got to realize that. And when you understand a person is only concerned about themselves, not in a negative sense, but when they woke up that morning, you never know, their car could have dead it. They could have took Uber or Lyft to that place. So asking questions based on the needs of the prospect, not just random talking and not making points. I do more asking questions and listening than I do anything when I'm selling somebody. Asking questions and listening. I'm asking all kinds of questions because this value that I'm looking to bring to them, I got to see where that value fits. And those questions are going to take me to the discovery, and then I'm going to loop back again to asking. I'm going to loop back again to the value. The value is our portfolio, our list of properties that are off market. The value is our hard money and our private money will turn around and help you close those 3 properties this year with less money out your pocket. Look, I just want to write on the board now because I'm starting to actually see this. Less money out of pocket, and it's going to help you reach your goals. Now, how close are you to doing that right now? They're going to say, well, we don't have anything. Okay, great. So we're 6 months into the year. You don't have nothing. So we got to do these 3 in the next 8 months, right? We got to do you're far from me. So we got to do these 3 fast. So if I can show that to him and I can present it to him in detail, then I can loop back around and ask him the question. Knowing this and seeing this, how does this fit? That would be a question I would tie in. Knowing this and seeing this, do you see how this will help you? It's the same thing. The worst mistakes agents make is they think that because they got a license, they're automatically going to get a deal. You realize being a real estate agent is like the highest commodity right now. Anybody can get these licenses. Okay, anybody. It's not about getting the license. It's about getting the skills behind the licensing. Anybody can get the license. Anybody can study for a test and pass it. I had a mentor that actually studied 7 times and failed it 7 times, and he passed it on his 8th time. And he is a mentor, because he grew one of the largest REO teams in the state of Georgia. Probably one of the largest ones on the East Coast. But he failed 7 times, and he passed on the 8th time, and after that, he blew up. So, my tip for the day, so many different things we could talk about. We can talk about numbers and all those different things for you lovers of real estate out there. But take it from a vet. If you don't understand how to sell, how to present value, how to ask questions, how to tie in a story, that's the last one we're going to do right here. Why? Because stories sell, they connect people to their emotions. They it's not a story for the sake of flexing your ability or your skills, because I've seen people do all these doggone stories, but it never takes me to the reason, should I get this or not? No, these are stories that show you how we had a customer and We had a client that came to us. She never did a flip in her whole life, and she wanted to flip a property, her very first property. So we put her together with a deal that we have. We put her with a loan officer who is separate, a hard money private money person who is separate. They were able to now put her in a product that helped her do what she needed to do to buy the place. And then from there, she got the place, closed on a deal, added her very first property to her portfolio of real estate. But it all started with first the foundation, selling, showing the value, asking questions to determine if it fits, discovery, then back to looping in the value, and then where we go from there, less out of pocket, then we tie it down. Tie it down is just basically saying, and there's so many different terminology. There's so much terminology out here that you can use. So many different pieces of terminology to describe tie downs, closes, loops. I've seen it tech. People call it loops. I've done tech before. So you're talking B2B. You got to loop the sale. At the end of the day, we just want to show them how this fits with them currently, and we want them to come to the point of realizing it. We don't want to be pushy. And I hate pushy salespeople when I walk in somewhere and they're always trying to push something, and it's called commission breath, and nobody has time for that because, like I said at the beginning, most people are concerned with themselves. That's all I'm going to give you today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the next aspect of actually not effing up in real estate. Because they effing up right now. A lot of them are effing up. As the market gets crazy, they're going to F up more because the foundation is destroyed. There's a Bible verse that says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Same thing. What can a salesperson do? What can an entrepreneur do? What can that person do if the foundation be destroyed? And sales is the foundation of just about every business. Even in nonprofit, it's still selling. So, as the market gets crazy, as we see all this crazy stuff going on right now, whether we're talking about rioters in the West Coast and all over the country, whether we're talking about Israel, it doesn't matter. What matters is this: can you add more skills during this time underneath your belt to pay the bills? And the top skill that you're going to need is selling. That's it. You can't really get past that. And I don't care what anybody says, you really can't. Because a lot of the people who are great entrepreneurs, a lot of my mentors who I know who coached me through some crazy situations, all of them had the ability to sell. Matter of fact, I was doing a deal just recently, and I'm trying to get this development this guy, he's got a development deal. We were trying to put him right with the right funding, and in the course of asking those questions, we were able to find out that he didn't even have a contractor, or he had a builder, but he was still collecting bids from builders to build out this subdivision. So what did we do? We put him with the right builder, contractor to help him, and we did that through asking questions. And then we wouldn't even find that out if we didn't ask questions. And wouldn't be able to now locate, hey, there's a money play inside this too, by asking those questions. Not telling him how great I am, not telling him who I am, not telling him how much I sold last year, not telling him how much I flipped this year, not smiling at him if you're a realtor walking around the house, and you're smiling, hey, yeah, you're bugging them every 10 minutes. No, just when you call them, ask some good questions for sales, and they will love you. Hey guys, like, subscribe, follow for more content. I got some more stuff to say. I'm always talking. My mom said I talk too much. This is Real Estate Lunchbox. Guys, I'll see you on the next video. You guys have a great day.